Hare Krishna. Today I'm going to talk about an issue which is plaguing the youth these days, particularly with the advent of social media. So we'll begin. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvisheshu Nivadi Paschatya Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So today we are going to talk about FOMO. FOMO, it's an acronym, and what it means is fear of missing out. So this term has come up in recent times, but it's not a new phenomena as such. What it means is that when people are looking at other people performing certain activities, they feel anxiety or apprehension that they are missing out on those activities. So this could be related to something fun, that other people are having fun and you're not participating in that. Or it could be some opportunity which you feel others are taking advantage of and you are unable to do so. So this phenomena of looking at other people and regretting that you are not doing what they are doing is termed as FOMO. And the main thing about this is that it makes one feel very bad about themselves, and it makes one very anxious when taking decisions, because you want to do the right thing but you're also not confident about your decisions. So there's always this anxiety around your life and the decisions that you take. So this is the anxiety related to things in your life, and it's also associated to a large extent with regret. So there's something that's happening in the present when people feel that, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, which other people are doing. So that's you are apprehensive about your current life. And also you start looking back that I missed out already on so much. So there's a sense of regret. And all these feelings are exacerbated or enhanced because of social media. Why is that? Because now there is more visibility, in one sense, into other people's lives. Earlier it would just be that when you talk to somebody, you're aware of what they are going through. But now through social media, everybody is putting their life on the internet for other people to see. And it's not their whole life, it's really the positive events. Because everybody wants to feel good about themselves and they want to project that positive image. And everyone knows that this is selectively done, that you only put the good things up on Facebook or Instagram. But still, when we see the lives that other people are experiencing, one is left with this pang or this longing that, oh, everybody seems to be doing better than me. And in the recent years, this has affected the young people a lot, because they are a lot more on social media than the older people. And it's also the age where you are quite impressionable, you're not that confident about yourself. So these kind of things affect one a lot. And as a result, anxiety, depression, these words have become common amongst the youth. Another thing that I wanted to discuss in relation to FOMO is that this term has come up in recent times, but the phenomena itself is not new. Earlier, the thing was put in a way that there were sayings like grass is always greener on the other side, or keeping up with the Joneses. What this means is that one has a tendency to look at what other people are doing and feel that they're doing better or their life is better. It could be similar, that you're in a similar neighborhood and you're of a similar economic status, but just when you briefly look into somebody's life, that oh, they're having a nice picnic in their backyard, or look, they're always going out for weekends here and there with their children. So you always tend to compare, and you selectively look at what someone is doing, and you get this impression that they're doing better than you. So always this sense of competition has been there, that it's not a new phenomena. It's a natural thing actually. But what has happened in the past couple of decades is that this has been encouraged by the government or by the corporations, because it's all in the spirit of capitalism and consumerism. They want that the people should be dissatisfied, because then they will buy more products, and whatever they have bought, they'll feel dissatisfied with it and they want to upgrade it. So we are actually playing into the hands of few individuals who are controlling this, and they are profiting from this. So one thing is that we need to be aware of where this problem stems from. And the purpose of this discussion is to identify the problem and also try to come up with a solution. And we would like to have a spiritual solution for this material problem. So we'll be discussing a bit of that. So this problem, as we started the discussion, that it affects the youth a lot. So we, for example, children who go to college, they have this idea that now they must have a lot of fun. But you have to balance it with other things. So if a person is having a lot of fun, that person will think that, oh, but my grades are going to suffer, so I'm missing out on the academics. And then they feel, oh my gosh, then I will miss out on the placements or the job opportunities that come up. So there's always this tussle of what we should do, because we are always, like I said, selectively looking at people's lives. So when we go on our social media, we'll look at some people who are having a lot of fun, going for parties or late nights. So we want to join that group. And when we join that group, then we look at other people who have, participated in some inter-school competition, done very well. Then we feel, oh, but when it's time for placements, they'll do better. So again, this kind of dissatisfaction where you want to do a lot of things, but because it's practically impossible, then one ends up feeling that I'm missing out. It's really a lot because of the social media, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle, because you go on social media, you see what other people are doing, and you feel bad, the FOMO, I'm missing out. But also, if you distance yourself from social media, then you don't know what other people are doing in your peer group. So then you feel like, oh, I could be missing out something interesting that's happening. I don't know, who's part of which group and what the group dynamics are. So again, you feel you're missing out. So then you go back to social media, and then you remain stuck in this cycle, and one is not able to come out of it. So it's an important thing for us to address, because I know a lot of the devotees who I'm interacting with are young, and they are facing this, or there are Matajis who are guiding these ladies. So they also, or they have children who are teenagers or preteens, and they are going to experience this. So we as parents and devotees who are guiding other devotees need to be aware that this is becoming an issue, and it needs to be addressed before it makes a person so anxious and apprehensive about their life that they cannot focus on their spiritual life. Then this is not just about the youth, because like I said, at various stages, we do look, these days practically everybody is on social media. So you will see your peers putting forth that, oh, they got a promotion, or they are, relocating to some other country, and their life seems to be so glamorous. So we all tend to experience this, not just on social media. Sometimes there are family gatherings, and as is, everybody will boast about their children and how they are doing so well in extracurricular activities or in academics, and then we feel, where did I go wrong? Did I miss out on focusing on my children, that they are not doing as well? So we feel this fear of missing out, that I have left something undone. And this whole cycle of okay, now for future, I don't want to miss out. So then we start thinking of what can be done now. I don't want to miss out. I don't want my children to miss out on any opportunities, and we start pushing them in a certain direction. And I also observed that this happens when somebody is looking for a partner. So they feel that they go through certain people who are suggested by their family and friends, or they may have put their profile on a marriage website, but they're not able to decide on a person because they feel, oh, what if there's someone else who is better suited for me? So they feel, yeah, this person is okay, but because of this FOMO, which is the fear of missing out on that ideal match, they keep looking. They keep looking to a point where it may become too late and your options become less, because for various reasons you got busy with your work and you didn't focus on this, and you just wanted the perfect match. And time has passed, you're older, situation is different. So this becomes a problem, not just for the person who's about to get married, but their parents. They are always thinking, yeah, not suitable for my daughter or son. Maybe someone better is out there somewhere. So we tend to procrastinate. We postpone making decisions at the right time. That's not all. When I was researching for my book, there is one lady, I think Reva, her name is, she's a journalist from Canada, and she was comparing arranged marriages and love marriages, and saying that the people who don't have arranged marriages, they romantically fall in love with somebody and then they get married. But after a few years, when really, things are going on and how the initial charm wears out, people start thinking that, oh, did I make a mistake? Maybe there's another person out there who is better suited for me. And this, combined with the fact that in these countries it's fairly easy to get divorced, this is one of the reasons that this kind of dissatisfaction, feeling that I'm not in the best possible relationship. So it doesn't end, the feeling doesn't end with just when you're deciding who to marry. Often, this used to be in Western countries, and now it is pretty much in India also, that divorce is not a taboo. So people who are in relationships, even in marriages, they start thinking that, oh, this is less than ideal. So why should I put up with it? Maybe I have a better chance with someone else. All of this stemming from the fear that I'm not living my best life. So this constant kind of dissatisfaction that is underlying one's day-to-day life, one's decisions, anything that you want to go ahead with, you feel, but is this correct? What if there's a better job, better opportunity, better investment? For investments, it's a huge phenomena, that thinking that I'll miss out on the best possible opportunity. So in this way, one is dissatisfied and there's so much anxiety. And why this is important for us to discuss as devotees, aspiring devotees, that you cannot make good progress in your spiritual life if you are so disturbed in your mind. So what are some of the things that we can do to prevent this overtaking? Of course, some amount of this feeling of second guessing yourself, did I do the right thing, is natural. We do feel that. And if you have taken a major decision or you're about to take a major decision, one does tend to spend time over it. But it shouldn't take over your life. So some of it is inevitable. We are surrounded by such a world where things are bombarded on us. So the billboards, the TV, internet, you always feel that there's some lucrative thing there, whether it's for your fitness, that, oh, if I just do this, I'll be really fit and active and healthy. So new trends keep coming up, which is okay. You can, spend some time on it. But when it becomes too much, that's when it's termed FOMO, where you're fearful, you're anxious, and that's not good for our spiritual life. Some of the things that we can do to manage this is to first understand that where it is stemming from, which we discussed, that it's more from a feeling of dissatisfaction with one's own life. So an easy way or one of the solutions would be that just be confident in who you are and what your life is. But these are things which are easier said than done. It may help if we understand from scriptures what material life is all about. We understand that we are put in a particular situation because of our karma, and how life unfolds for us is also highly dependent on our past karma. So this means that all the situations that come before us are predestined. There's little I can do about it. What I can do is how I react to it. So that is in our hands. But in a lot of cases, our hands are tied because of the situation. You can't change how you look or what your level of intelligence is, or even what your physical state is. You can optimize things to a certain level, but there are certain things we are born with which we cannot change. So that's something that we should learn to accept. And the other thing that we learn from scriptures is that yes, you should try to improve your circumstances or change them, but there's a limit to which you should make that endeavor. So in Nectar of Instruction, we are given this instruction, Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangha cha lolyam cha shadbhir bhakti vinashyati. So there are 6 things which will destroy our spiritual life. And the second thing is prayas. Prayas actually translates to endeavor, making an effort. But here it refers to over-endeavoring, that when we try too much, that can be harmful for our spiritual life. How is that? So if, for example, our child has to go on with higher studies, so what will we do? We'll see that this is the aptitude of the child, whether he's interested in science or financial stream or humanities. And then we consult some people, seniors in their school or our friends who have kids their age, and we try to find out which is the best college, best course, where according to our economic status, whether we can afford to send them abroad, what are the competitions they should write, which are the exams. And then we may encourage the child to go through with that process. So that's normal, everybody does it, it's expected. But then what part would be over-endeavoring? If day and night we are just on the internet, looking at various people, looking at advice, filling out lots of forms, that what if he doesn't get through here? What if, this is a better option? And the child is just studying day and night for various competitive exams. So to the extent that their health suffers, and when it comes to the point of exams, they may not even be able to perform. So here you are crossing the line from endeavoring to over-endeavoring. So understanding these 2 things, that there is karma and there is our own endeavor. And we don't need to over-endeavor, because whatever we are destined for, with the right amount of endeavor, it will come to us. So it's a bit difficult to understand, because how, at which point do you understand that this endeavor has become over endeavor? But a little bit of counseling as a family, you can sit down and see whether the stress levels are manageable or it's getting out of hand. So in this way you can practically understand. And this all comes from the mentality when we are trying to, that our dissatisfaction or our FOMO is so much that we want to change things up, and we are always anxious about that. So if we understand and accept the fact that whatever I'm destined for and whatever comes by the grace of God will come, then we can learn to manage this a little bit. We will not be fearful that we are missing out, because we will understand that whatever I'm supposed to get, I'll get. And even if I over endeavor, what is not in my fate is not going to come. So there's no point in going through this whole thing. And the other thing that we talked about was regret, that we look back on decisions and think that, oh, maybe I should have done it differently, and I missed this opportunity. Again, not really. If you did work for it and it didn't fall in your lap, maybe you were not destined for it. So we need to move on. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna mentions what are the favorable attributes of a pure devotee. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochiti na kangshiti sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. This is chapter 18, verse 54. So this is how a pure devotee is. This is the kind of devotee who comes back to Krishna. Prasannatma, always joyful. Na sochiti na kangshati. Kangshati is desire, desiring, always thinking, I want this, I want that. And na sochiti. Na sochiti is regret. So a pure devotee is not desiring and not regretful, which means he's not always anxious. So of course, these are the characteristics of a pure devotee. They're never anxious, and they're never repentant, never lamenting, why did this happen, why did that happen? They just accept. Whatever Krishna gives, it's for my... They pray that Krishna, please do in my life whatever you deem fit. And then they accept. Whether good, bad or ugly, whatever comes their way, they accept. This is a pure devotee. We may not be at that stage, but at least we can aspire for that. When we feel the regret for things that we have missed, we should calm ourselves down, that no, it was not meant to be. It was just not meant to be. That's fine. We need to move on. So these were some of the things that I thought could help us counter this feeling of FOMO, accepting of our circumstances, not having regret. And another huge part of FOMO is the feeling of envy. So Lord Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita that actually Ichcha and Dvesh, I think chapter 7 verse 27, these are the two things which is really the foundation of material life. We are here because of Ichcha, we desire to enjoy, and Dvesh, we did not like that actually Lord Krishna is enjoying so much. So these things are inherent in our material mindset. So it's not surprising that we feel so much envy towards other people. But we about 2 years ago, we had discussed on this topic that kill the snake of envy before it kills you, how it can be very damaging, particularly for our spiritual life. And talking about spiritual life, FOMO is seen in spiritual sphere also, especially for women when they are younger, they have children. Suddenly things change where earlier one could do a lot of service. Now your sphere is limited to your home, and you have to spend a lot of time with the child, and you start feeling, you see other Matajis who are still doing service, and you feel, oh, I'm missing out. Or somebody, maybe not because of children, but elderly in-laws or parents at home, they're not able to do service, and they're always thinking, I'm missing out. So They feel that no, this is, this is not good for my spiritual life. So that also we have to learn to manage. We have to understand that maybe there are circumstances where I cannot do direct service in the temple, but instead I can utilize that desire by serving the Lord at home, at our altar, serving the devotees of Krishna. So we do see this in the spiritual realm also. The interesting thing is that I was discussing this topic with my daughter, and she said, well, there's positive FOMO also in spiritual life. What's that? That we should be fearful that we have this human form of life, and if we miss this opportunity, that would be really bad. This is a perfect situation for us to become Krishna conscious, because in human form we have this mind by which we can think, understand, and engage in devotional service. So if we miss this opportunity, it could be millions of lifetimes before we get human birth again. So this kind of FOMO is not bad, but not that it takes over us and we are always anxious that, oh my God, I'm not doing enough, to the point where you are not able to do because you're so anxious. No, a little bit of this is good. Like I also had, I think it's good FOMO that I was not able to engage with you all for the past so many months. And I was always thinking that, oh, I want to meet with the Matajis again. I want to talk with them. So I felt that I was missing out on your association, but I feel that's good. That was good for me. I was always, in many situations, I was thinking, oh, this is a good topic I want to discuss with other devotees. So there is good aspect to it. But the word FOMO really, it means when you're fearful and anxious. So we don't want to be like that. We want to have good feelings about our spiritual life, and that begins with being reconciled with things that are happening in our material life. So FOMO happens a lot on the material level. It also happens on the spiritual level. But I think in the conclusion, I would just like to say that whatever your circumstance is, be accepting of that, and that will help us to combat this fear of missing out. Actually, we are not missing out on much, especially in the material world. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed that we are missing out on that. So if your children are feeling that they're missing out on the parties and this and that, you should feel glad. Actually, you should feel happy that they're missing out on that. In the sense that, not that we are indifferent to the feelings of our children, but I hope we bring up our children in such a way that they understand that these are not things which are going to be beneficial for their consciousness. And what seems to be like fun and something, frivolous now, it can actually have impact on one's consciousness that is felt for a long period of time. So it's not a small thing. And also, just like, again, when I was talking to my daughter, I said, well, how would you, try to combat this FOMO? Because she's in her 20s, and it's really a lot for younger people. So she said, I remember what you told me, that as devotees, we are different. I mean, we are not going to engage in things that most people outside of not ISKCON, but those who are not pious would be engaging in. And that's all right. That's okay. That's something we just accept and we move on. And we are not regretful about that, because we do understand that that is damaging. That may look like fun, but it's not helpful. It's not going to be something great in life. So our children can also have fun, but in a nice, healthy way. And they should not feel bad if they're missing out on the kind of parties that happen, which involve a lot of intoxication and other illicit activities. If you yourself are a young person who's thinking that, please don't feel bad about it. You're saving yourself, you're saving your soul, you're saving your consciousness. You're not missing out. And for all of us who are a little older and we feel that we are missing out for, whatever material prosperity someone else has, well, it may or may not come our way, whatever Krishna desires. So we should be more accepting and reduce the anxiety in our life by constantly comparing ourselves to other people. Hare Krishna. I look forward to hearing your comments or questions on this topic. So we'll meet tomorrow and I'll see you then. Hare Krishna.